Hi, I'm State Representative Kelly Chambers, representing the 25th Legislative District, here to give you an update on where we are this 38th day of the legislative session. We just passed an internal deadline within the legislature called House of Origin cutoff. And that means that any bills that weren't passed out of the House in which they were introduced are now dead. So it's kind of a mixed bag with that. There are a lot of important issues that we thought we would make headway on this year that are now dead. And at the same time, there's a lot of bad bills that are now dead, which is a good thing. So some bills that would increase utility costs. There was a bad landlord tenant bill that would essentially be a foundation for rent control. So we're glad that those ones are dead. At the same time, we're concerned that some really important issues aren't being addressed. We know that we need to address public safety and fixing some of the changes that were made last year to law enforcement and public safety with regards to vehicular pursuits and use of force. We can just tell, you look at the headlines with what's going on in our neighborhoods right now, and it is really important that we address public safety. We see story after story, week after week, in which crimes are being committed and law enforcement is not able to pursue those suspects. That's making our communities less safe. I know it's happening in our area, and you've seen the headlines just like I have. We also failed to address in a meaningful way emergency powers reform. There was a bill that's moved out of the Senate. It's a very, I would say, weak version of what we really ought to be talking about. It does give essentially a four-corner affirmation to continuing governor's emergency powers. But the reality is it doesn't include meaningful legislative weigh-in on how we address as a state emergency situations. I'm also disappointed that we haven't done a better job of addressing our tax situation. Right now, we are dealing with the highest amount of inflation that a lot of people have seen in their lifetime. It's the highest it's been since 1982. And the state has a $9 billion plus budget surplus. And with such a huge surplus, we really thought it was time to give people back some of their money so they can afford some of these price increases that they're having to deal with, from their utilities to their groceries to the gas pump. For their part, Democrats have introduced a transportation plan that includes many new taxes and fees. And we think this is just going in the wrong direction. Instead of prioritizing tax relief, Democrats have raised the cost of living in Washington by making it more expensive at the pump and more expensive to get to and from work and school. Here in the Republican caucus, we have a plan to reduce those fees and make things a little bit more affordable for Washingtonians. We're going to keep fighting for you, just like we did the other night when we spent all night, 9 hours, debating one single bill. The last couple of weeks of the legislature are pretty intense, and we're going to continue to focus on those areas that we know are priorities for Washingtonians, and that's life affordability, reducing your taxes so that you have more money to keep in your pocket and take care of your family. We're going to continue to prioritize public safety. We want safe neighborhoods. We know you do as well, and we're going to continue to fight on those issues. And with regards to emergency powers, we need to restore balance back to Washington and the governor's emergency powers, and we'll continue to fight on that as well.